What's going on, guys? I wanted to do this video. It's not going to be long. I got something I need to fess up to. No, it's nothing bad. I wanted to tell you something that we experienced last week, and tell you, kind of what happened and what I learned. But first, I want to address something. I want everyone to comment. I want you to comment your thoughts. I want you to comment that you enjoyed the video. I want you to comment you subscribe to the channel. The one thing I will not tolerate is you personally attacking me or Nate. I had a very ugly comment. A gentleman or a person, I don't know if it was a man or a woman, and I don't care. They expressed feeling about the video, and that's fine. That is perfectly fine. But then they went in to say Nate is lazy. That will not be tolerated on this channel. Am I overprotective of my son? Absolutely. I am training him how to work, how to be responsible, and one day maybe take over this business. He's not lazy. He does exactly what I ask him to do. He does exactly what I instruct him to do. He does not do anything that the job may not require him to do. He waits for my instruction, and that's the way it's supposed to be. He's not supposed to go out and just do willy-nilly whatever he wants to do. That's not laziness. That is waiting for instruction. And I have not blocked the person, but if you see this video, you can kiss my tail. My son is a hard worker. He does exactly what he's supposed to do. Sometimes he goes above and beyond, but he does exactly what he's supposed to do. I invite you to come back, but understand that kind of behavior on this channel will not be tolerated. Okay, enough of that. So, Nate and I had to do some makeup work because it rained all day Thursday. This is Sunday. It is March the 1st. It rained all day Thursday, and it was raining Friday morning when we got up. And it rained till afternoon on Friday. And so I let all of the rain on the radar get past our area, and so I could make a determination: is it too wet and we need to wait, or do we need to go ahead and go do what we can do? Well, executive decision, I decided that we're going to go ahead and do what we could do. Well, I'm not going to go through everything, every element of the day. We were coming back from the eastern side of where we live. We were coming back. Well, actually, we were going to go through, I believe it's Fayetteville, and we were coming up to a stoplight. I was doing about 52 miles an hour, pulling the equipment. This lady in a car in front of us slammed on brakes when the light turned yellow. Now, she had plenty of time to go through, but what happened, it caused me to have to slam on brakes. Well, when that happened, something very unusual happened with Clifford. We interrupt this video for this public service announcement. My analytics are telling me that not many people that are actually watching my videos are subscribed to the channel. So if you would, please be sure and like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, and share these videos, guys. Liking the video tremendously helps the videos and the channel, and it gets YouTube's attention to recommend me to more people. So please do that. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, on with the festivities. So when we got stopped, everything seemed to be okay. The trailer, everything on the trailer stayed put, didn't move, and we thought everything was okay. Well, the light turned green, and I started off. And the one thing about pulling a load is once you get the load moving, everything is pretty good. You get better fuel mileage. Your engine doesn't have to work as hard. It's when you're starting out that your engine has to work hard and you actually burn more gas getting the load moving. Well, having said that, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my oil pressure gauge goes all the way to 0, and the low oil pressure light starts blinking on the dashboard. To say that I panicked is an understatement. That is my work truck, also our family truck. It's the only vehicle that we can all ride in. And when I say all, I mean me, Flossie, Nate, and Barron. We can all ride in comfortably. Now, we can ride in Flossie's Jeep, but Nate is so long-legged, he's really cramped. And so I immediately, in the middle of the road, I immediately pulled over and cut it off because I didn't know what was going on. Well, I cranked it back up. Everything seemed to be good. We started off. I got about maybe a mile down the road, and it did it again. And I'm like, holy crap, what have I done to my truck? I'm going to cut to the chase and tell you 3 quick things. Number 1, I called my neighbor. We'll just call him William. And he is a Ford Master Technician. And I asked him, I said, what could be going on with this thing? He said, well, several different things. He said, the first thing I would do is check the oil level. He said, as soon as you get where you're going, I said, will it hurt to drive like this? He said, maybe, maybe not. He said, it depends on what's causing it. He said, but right now we don't know. He said, get to where you're going, let it sit a few minutes, check the oil level. Well, for those of you that don't know, Ford F-150s that have the 5-liter Coyote, they are an 8-quart system. Now, my old white truck that I used to drive, and I'll put a picture of it right here, it has the 351 Windsor in it, and it is a 5-quart system. So, a smaller engine, less displacement, has 3 more quarts of oil. I thought if it got a quart and a half low, I would be good. I was wrong. Let me explain. The computer systems in both trucks are completely different. The way the computer system is set up in Clifford, if you're new to the channel and you don't know who Clifford is, this is Clifford. It's my work truck. You've heard of Clifford the big red dog? Well, this is Clifford the big red truck. Well, the computer systems of those trucks are completely different. Main reason is the white truck is a 1996. Clifford is a 2014. Well, basically, in a nutshell, what happened? It was a little low on oil. I knew it was a little low on oil. I didn't think it was a big deal because it was an 8-quart system. Again, boy, was I wrong. Let me explain why. You see this Diet Coke bottle? Okay, this level of Diet Coke in this bottle represents your engine oil at highway speed, which is what I was doing. Okay, your oil pickup is back here inside the oil pan. Okay, on a hard brake, why is it when I start filming outside, the traffic goes crazy? But anyway, on a hard stop condition, when the truck noses forward like that, look at what the oil does. When it's low on oil, there's even less oil than this. And what had happened, basically, the oil galley in the oil pan, all the oil sloshed up to the front, and the oil pickup started sucking air for about 5 seconds, because it took me that long to get stopped. Well, when the oil come back, there was an air pocket in the oil system, about 10 seconds worth. Well, that's what caused the low oil pressure gauge, to drop, and the low oil pressure light to come on. Now, let me fast forward. We got to where we were going. Well, actually, I was making a bank deposit, and I told Nate, I said, let it sit for about 10 minutes, check the oil, and we'll see where it's at, and then we'll know if we need to add oil or not. So we let it sit. It ended up being 20 minutes. In the meantime, I called my neighbor William again. He was at work. I didn't want to disturb him, but I had to ask a couple of questions. And I said, what could be causing this? He asked me if the engine was making any weird noises that it shouldn't be making. I said, no. I said, the engine's running sound. It's running strong. It's running fine. There's no clicking, no clacking, no knocking, no pinging, no nothing. He said, well, check the oil level, and if it's got enough oil in it. And I said, now what constitutes enough oil? He said, well, it's an 8-quart system. As long as the oil is touching the stick, you're good. He said, drive it home, see if it does it again, and if it does, I'll come over and we'll diagnose the problem and get it fixed. He said, most likely, if it's got sufficient oil in it, it's your oil sending unit. He said, those trucks are notorious for the oil sending units or oil sending sensors going out. Fast forward 2 days. I checked oil in it Saturday morning, and it was 1.5 quarts low. Now, you think an 8-quart system, 1.5 quarts, and an engine that size, you would be more than fine. The engine, yes. The computer, no. That's where I was going with this. The computer in that truck, when it nosedived like that at the stoplight, it sensed there's no oil being pulled through the oil pickup, getting in, feeding the engine, and it threw that warning immediately. Now, I learned this: if it does that 4 times and you don't stop and let the computer kind of reset, it'll go into limp mode and you won't be able to drive it. Well, you will, but it won't do but about 20 miles an hour. But make a long story short, we got home. I went immediately and got oil. Well, actually, I take that back. I went Saturday morning and yesterday morning and got oil. And I filled it up. And I run amsoil OE 5W30 in Clifford. And I filled it up to the full line, and it's never done it again. So what happened? Well, being it was low on oil, and let me do this. You see where that line is right there? Okay. 1.5 quarts. I'm gonna pour out about that much. Now you see where that fluid is there? Now, when it stopped real hard, it did that. There's no oil back here in the back of the pan. Now, is this a drastic demonstration? Yeah, because this is fluid and you gotta, but in essence, the pickup it sits about that high up. It sits about that far off the bottom of the oil pan. So that oil drops down, there's no oil there, that can cause major problems. Not mechanical, computer. That can cause major problems. So we drove Clifford to church this morning. No issues whatsoever. Nate drove it to the store this afternoon. No issues whatsoever. So I learned a valuable lesson about new technology. Because see, every car I've ever owned was, well, Floss's Jeep was the newest vehicle we've ever owned. It's a 2006 until we bought Clifford. The white Ford F-150 Eddie Bauer, it's a 1996. And we are slowly but surely buying parts and stuff like that. And we're going to be making a video series on actually restoring that truck. We're not going to do it now because we don't have everything we need. But anyway, that's a video for another time. But again, I can't reiterate enough. I want you to make comments, but I want the comments to be kind. I don't care if you critique me. I don't care if you make a comment, you talk too much. I know I talk too much. I'm Southern. That's what Southern people do. We communicate. We don't just speed up the footage, play music. We talk along the way to explain to people that may be watching that don't understand what we're doing, so they might be able to do it. They might be able to do it for themselves. And if that's not your cup of tea, I completely understand. But understand, there's a lot more people out there that it is their cup of tea because they're trying to learn something. So be understanding of that and be kind. So anyway, this is Brian with Big South Outdoors TV, reminding you to live big, live southern, and live outdoors. Until the next one, guys, have a good one.